everybody. Welcome back to season 2 of That's whY2K. Jinzy has the floor. My name is Nisaa Muhammad, and this year I am not coming to you as an AmeriCorps member, although I will forever, ever love the A. This year I'm coming to you as the YWCA Family Resource Center Program Specialist. And of course, I had to bring back for episode 1 of this new season our mic drop king, Mr. Stanley Stoutamire.
Hey everyone, glad to be back.
All right, Stanley. And we have a very special guest with us today, y'all. This young lady is a powerhouse. Do not let the pigtails fool you. She is hashtag about that life, but in a good way. And so, y'all, please welcome the dream, Miss Zahreia Robinson.
Hi.
I love it. So sweet, right? Don't let her fool y'all. She about to rock y'all's world. I'm telling you, she's the bomb like that. Okay. So y'all, what has been up? It is so good to see everyone. We are going to shake the table, but in a good way, with today's episode. We're calling it Invitation to the Cookout. Before I go on with this episode, please allow me to express that the views and opinions expressed in That's whY2K, Jinzy has the floor. Season 2, I love saying that. These views and opinions are those of the panelists and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the YWCA of Central Alabama or any of its affiliated entities. Okay, everybody got it? Cool. Let's get the ball rolling. So I've introduced, or they've introduced themselves, my lovely co-hosts. Well, let's find out just a little bit more about the people who are behind these screens or who are going to be conversing with me for the next hour. So Stanley, refresh the people's minds for the new people. Tell them who you are, what you're about, what you do.
So like I said, I guess Nisaa said earlier, I'm Stanley. I'm a junior in high school, and I'm just really excited to get to stay on this platform to talk about the things that are important to me.
We love it. And he forgot to mention he's the mic drop king. Y'all gonna see that later. Zahreia, tell us who you are, sis. What do you do?
Hi, I am Zahreia. I'm actually not in high school anymore. I graduated. So I'm kind of past that bar. But I'm playing. But no, I'm excited to be here. Not with the mic drop king. I'm a little nervous, but I feel like I'm trying to keep up. I'm excited to be here for real.
Yes, don't be scared, sis. You got this. You got this. And you all, if you don't know, like I said, my name is Nisaa Muhammad, and I'm super excited. These young people that I have with me, I know from personal experience, they are going to bring it. I'm super excited to hear what they have to say in terms of our topic today. So let's get into it. So we're gonna start off with a what's up with that, y'all. And if y'all know me, y'all know I love just a little bit of mess, right? When I say a little bit of mess, meaning I like to talk about the things that nobody wants to talk about, that people kind of brush over. So let's get into it. Have y'all heard about critical race theory? Yes, no, maybe so. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so for those of y'all who do not know, and I had to Google because y'all know if I don't know something, I either Google or I ask Stanley because the man knows it all apparently. Critical race theory, which I learned today, is more of a college topic. But what it is it's a way for people to study and learn about how the argument that Caucasians have benefited primarily from being in America, basically. So from all of the rules, the laws, the legislation, like everything, basically, they benefit most. And so what we've learned, what I've been seeing all over the TLs, all of them, I'm talking about from MySpace on forward, is that schools across America are banning the conversation about this topic. And I don't know, like that really does make me feel like, what's up with that? What do y'all think?
I definitely think it's a little out there, especially for places that are like using the label critical race theory to ban things that like aren't like I heard about this one story about this guy who wrote like a kid's graphic novel about his like elementary school experience and it was literally just a book about him trying to find his basketball shoes, and it got banned for critical race theory.
What was in the book? They don't like shoes. What was the book? What did it? Was he an activist or something, or was it just like he was?
That was it, pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to Google that. I'm gonna have to, because I gotta understand what type of shoes he had on. Maybe it was the ones in like Bike or something.
Like that doesn't add up. But
It
okay.
doesn't. But that is I've been seeing a lot of books be canceled. That's such a Gen Z word or term. I've been seeing a lot of books have been banned, and we love y'all, but I'm just saying, like, canceled is not the appropriate politically correct term. A lot of books are being banned because of, like, they're saying critical race theory, or kids don't need to read about them. So what do you think, Zahreia? Banning critical race theory, or really what it is, the discussion of America's history, quote unquote, racism in schools? What do you think?
This was actually my first time really hearing about like actual stuff getting banned because of like them using that as an excuse. So I just think it's kind of crazy. But like, yeah, this is my first time. I've never heard that term before. Like, are you serious? They use that as an excuse. Like I'm like, I didn't even know about the book thing. Like genuinely.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
you're shocked. She's like, what?
I thought it was this in the school. Like I thought, okay.
Yeah. I feel like it's some type of, like, it's a setup for a terrible future. Because it's like, if you don't know the history, you're bound to repeat it. And if everyone's goal, which everyone says is their goal, of course, when they're trying to pursue something, people are saying the goal is to push the world further, to bring people together, to have like equality, you know what I'm saying, to be a just nation. I don't think that banning a conversation that could be helpful, I don't think that's a smart way to kind of push the world forward. It's like, no, you're not, because then we don't know why people feel away. We don't know why these things aren't okay to say. We don't know why you don't do XYZ. It's like we just accept that, okay, this never happened in history. And it's almost like, well, then what happens when history happens again and it could have been avoided with a conversation? Yes, people may be uncomfortable, people may not like it, but everything in the world isn't pretty.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, they didn't want to talk about it because it makes them uncomfortable. And, you know, they don't want to put it. I was going to tell a story, but it doesn't really have anything to do with, it's similar, but it's like, you know, no, it's like, no, I was like, not really like them not talking about it, but I was like, when they were forced to talk about it back when I was like young, I remember that I was like still in middle school. And when they did have to talk about slavery, I remember they put on this particular movie at the time that literally had all the graphic stuff in it. And I was a little girl. I didn't know what any of it was, but I know seeing it didn't make me feel the best, but it was like, since they are forced to talk about it, they're going to show it in their own way. So clearly now they're using that as a way to not talk about it at all. But I was like, when they were talking about it, that's not like they were giving the right information. So it was just really making, and it happened to be a white school. So it was like, okay, I'm sitting on the carpet with other white kids, and I'm just seeing people who look like me on the screen get treated weirdly. I didn't understand it at first, but I mean, it's just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, like controlling the narrative. That's interesting.
I'm glad I was informed though, but I'm like, now they're not going to be informed at all.
Yeah.
So
that's so interesting, because I went to, and I tell people all the time, because I was proud of it. Shout out to my Nubians back home in Columbus. I went to an all-Black high school. And even the elementary school I went to momentarily for a while, it was a Black school, like it was majority Black students. And so when we got to high school and we were learning about, the history of our ancestors and whatnot, we learned it from the standpoint of, this is what, like, the Black standpoint, like the narrative was told by Black people, and we got to see the good, the bad, the ugly. Can I say the good? No. We got to see the true, I know, right? Horrible way to put that, but we got to see, the realness of it. And at the same time, we got to have conversations with people who looked like us, and they were able to explain. And even the educators who didn't look like us at the school, our Caucasian educators, our Spanish educators, they were able to offer some sort of, I don't want to say understanding, but some sort of allyship. So it wasn't just like, here it is, take it. And however you feel about it, you feel about it. So I'm sorry that was your experience, because I can imagine as a little girl.
I got scared and I went to the back of the room and I like read a book or something. Like it was just uncomfortable, but I didn't know why I was uncomfortable because nothing was explained. It was just like a movie shown.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awful. That's a horrible experience. And I'm so sorry because I couldn't imagine if that would have been my experience. That made me look at the world a lot differently. I would feel away. Like to this day, I wouldn't watch movies. Like I would just be like, don't give me a film ever. I don't care what it is. Happy feet, I don't want to see it. No thanks. Why are the feet happy? I don't want to see this. Seriously. Okay, y'all. So this one time at band camp, y'all know that's my saying. I've never really been to band camp, but I love to say it. I've always wanted to go to camp. Mom, why didn't you ever send me? So this one time at band camp, we're going to share a story similar to what Zahreia just did, about a time that we have had someone kind of give themselves an invitation to the cookout, right? So for example, I used to have a teacher, no names because, I had a teacher who had a child who was biracial, and the child wasn't even fully biracial, if that makes sense. The child was, I guess it would be a quarter of biracial because the father was mixed and the mother was Caucasian. Okay. So the child wasn't even, yeah, I know, right? It was like passed down. And so she would always say that she could rap certain things because her child was Black. And I just didn't see it that way. I couldn't agree with her. I was like, no. She's like, no, I can't. I can say that. You can't tell me I can't say that. I have a Black child. I'm like, but it's not okay. Because what do you say to this child when you're angry? I just have to know. How do you explain this to the child? And what is the rest of the family calling this child when you're not around? If this is what you're calling him or this is what you're saying. So that's my band camp story, guys.
Woo. Let me think. Okay. So this is kind of pertinent to like today. Like it was this was a couple years ago. I was at some bookstore and it was Martin Luther King Day. And I can't remember. I think it was a Black history book that I was buying for one of my younger cousins. And it was a really nice book. But anyway, we got up to the cashier and the lady who was Caucasian asked me in like a really accusatory way, so what are you doing for Black History Month? What are you doing for Martin Luther King Day? And I was just like, what are you doing?
Right. Like
are you celebrating?
I was just so taken aback because I was like, is she challenging me? There's no competition here.
I would win.
Imaginary competition.
Oh, the nerve.
The audacity. Okay. He said, what are you doing?
I would have been so shocked. Like, ma'am, I'm reading.
Right, like,
my God.
What's that?
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I don't I'm like, I had you could say like my friend, I say friend, my associate in high school. She was in one of my classes. She was I don't want to just call her. I think I'm just gonna say she was Spanish speaking because I don't know her exact. I don't want to go into that, but I was like, she was Spanish speaking. And I remember we were in the hallway and she said the N-word. Just out of nowhere. Like, I don't know. We were walking to class. Like, it was like, okay. And I remember I was like, why do you feel like you can say it? And she was just, her excuse was that she wasn't white. So she felt like she could, I guess it's one of my stories. I was like, kind of like, oh, kind of like Stanley, like, dang, all right. I mean, but I was just like, don't say it again. Like, I was just kind of like, we didn't really talk much after that.
Friendship demoted. Why is that always the go-to? Like, why is that the one? It's like, oh, I'm not white, so I can. No, you cannot. You cannot. I'm letting you know you cannot. People of color with love, I'm letting you know you cannot. That is off limits regardless. No, Stop it. No, really, because there are several words in several languages and several cultures that are offensive. You know what I mean? And it's like you don't even think to say them. You don't even even if you're mad at somebody and going off, it doesn't compute in your mind. Like, this is the insult I'm gonna hurt, right? But for whatever reason, all people, even us, but all people have decided that whenever they want to make a Black person feel inferior, or they want to try to get us out of character, or they want to be down, that they are going to go with this one word. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. Don't do it. There's far too much technology out here. There's far too many books you can, just don't. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. as Destiny would say. Shout out to my good sis. Huh?
I was like, it's just like, what's the reason?
Yeah, like
why do y'all go there?
It's to the point where we don't even get mad anymore. We just laugh. We're like, okay, I know words too.
Haha. Okay.
That's awful.
I mean, she wasn't calling me it. I think she was talking about like some dude in the hallway, but I was like, I don't really know why it was in her vocabulary.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. That's the one. Like, it was so irritating back in high school. And I went to all Black school, but even my principal, he put up posters and laminated them, and he was like, abolish the word at our school. And we all started calling each other Nubians instead, because that was our mascot. So for a while, everybody was greeting each other like that instead. And it was pretty cool. And every once in a while, I'm like, what's up, Nubians? Because it is. A Nubian is royalty. And so that was a cool way to transform something horrendous into something beautiful and welcoming. You know what I mean? And we even, we treated each other differently. We carried ourselves a little differently. Like, oh, I'm a royal, But yeah. So speaking of, our mic drop king let us know, and y'all forgive me, my brain is mush, right? Today is January 17th, right? Today is Martin Luther King Day, and we have to, of course, honor and show respect and show appreciation to those who came before us and paved the way. So a moment of silence, please, for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Ashe. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, I think that's interesting that our first episode is today, because I remember last year our first episode was during Black History Month. And so I love that we always somehow end up on a day that is just so wonderful, like for us to be reflective. So let's check out our next topic, and then I'm going to give y'all a Dr. King quote that is going to flow nicely with the things we're talking about, right? So y'all know the disclaimer. I know y'all sick of me, but I don't care, because I got to give them to you. Please note that no, I take that back, because I love how my sis does this. Zahreia, would you like to read? She's like, no. Okay, I got you. You will? Okay, good.
I got you.
Take your time.
The following conversation is not meant to offend anyone, but to educate. In order for people to do better, they must know better. Therefore, a conversation needs to be had.
Round of applause. I just love how she says that. It's very polite, but it's also like, you're going to learn something today. Like, you know how when your mom's like, come in here and sit down. It's like, oh, she got my report card. Okay, let's talk, Mom. All right, y'all. So, off the top of your head, you ready?
Right.
You ready? Top of your head, who was the first Black celebrity that you remember being one of your favorites?
Beyonce.
Okay.
Michael Jackson.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. Further back. He outdid me.
Michael Jackson is incomparable. He is. Like, I think him and Prince are the only, it's like, you can't even, don't go in their lane, leave them alone, don't touch them. I'm trying to think the first Black celebrity.
Oh, like, yeah, I'm sticking Beyonce, I guess.
Okay. If that's what you remember, that's what
Beyonce. You gotta say it confidently.
Yes, you do. Please do. And you got on a yellow shirt. Do not upset the Beehive. The first Black celebrity I remember being a favorite. You know what, Stanley? It was definitely Michael Jackson because I was raised in that house where all we did was watch the Ed Sullivan black and white cassette tapes. So I got all that. The Jackie Wilson, the Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5. We used to practice the robot. So yeah, Michael Jackson, he will forever reign supreme, was definitely one of my favorites early. All right, top of your head. These are thinking questions. There's a reason for these questions. Um, At what age did you realize that Black culture was the blueprint for everything in the world of art, fashion, and music? Did it ever click for y'all?
I think for music, probably when I think it was probably when I was 13 was, I don't know, when I realized that like rock and roll didn't start with Elvis. I think when I found that out that rock and roll started with Black people, I think that's when I realized.
Okay. You've been watching Cadillac Record, haven't you, Stanley? That is not a movie for you, sir. It is not a movie for you. You're too young.
I don't know if I like, not that I, yeah. I wanted to steal his answer. It wasn't when I was 13. I think I was like in high school. Because I like changed my whole friend group around, I'm pretty sure, when I learned about it. Like I started hanging around a lot more Black people, let me just say. So I was probably like 14, 15. Yeah.
God, I was young, y'all, in terms of like fashion and stuff, because I grew up when J-Lo was in her prime, honey, okay? Back when she was Jenny from the block, baby. And even before that, I was watching her as a fly girl on In Living Color. Y'all don't know nothing about that, okay? Back in the day, that used to be my jam, my show. I loved it. But I remember like all the praise she still gets for her frame, her shape. And I remember like Black girls, because I used to watch America's Next Top Model, and they were told like you had to be small. And even when you watch the shows like Girlfriends, which was popular around the time and all that, they were like, oh, my butt's too big or my hips are too wide. And it was like they weren't allowed. But women like J-Lo, they were being praised for it. Marilyn Monroe, she was being praised at the time for being like, curvy. And so I was like, that's mad crazy. Like everybody else gets to have curve and body yaddy, and we supposed to be out here just, tall and thin and perfect. We weren't allowed to be human. And so that's when I remember being like, oh crap. And Angelina Jolie, because everybody in the, I don't want to say 90s, you're going to think I'm old, but everybody in the 90s / early 2000s loved Angelina Jolie for her lips. And I'm just like, my cousin Nene got lips like that. And they talk about her like a dog at school. What is going on? And so that's when I realized, like, in the world of fashion, we were it, but it wasn't us. That was it. Our aesthetic was. Music, it kicked in a little later, like Stanley said, when he learned about rock and roll. For me, it was when I learned about, what is it? EDM or whatever the rocker, that thing my brother loves, like good rocker headbanger music. And when I realized that had the Black aesthetic to it as well, I was like, oh, we're everywhere. Like we're just all over the place. So yeah, there it is. That was it for me. All right, y'all. So Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And you know what? I got to stop forgetting that because I get mad when people forget it. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., may he rest in peace. He was quoted in saying that I fear, quote, I fear I may have integrated my people into a burning house. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that was one of the last quotes that he had said before he was assassinated, right? And so when I think about that quote, I think about how sometimes the idea that people think that we're supposed to just freely give of ourselves at all times. It's like, here you go, just take this, take this, take this, take this, take this. It's kind of a negative thing, and it's kind of self-depreciating, right? And I mean that in terms of Black culture. So if we're just always expected to be the blueprint, or we're always expected to just kind of give of ourselves, of our ideas, of our talent, at what point do we either receive something back or receive appreciation for it? And so with this next question, I ask you all, What is a gatekeeper? Have you ever heard of the term gatekeeper?
So I've heard of Gatekeeper definitely in like fan groups. Like, oh, you haven't seen this movie or that movie, so you can't be a fan of this. Or like you haven't listened to this album so many times.
I've heard about it too. I I think people kind of use it as an insult. That's when I've heard it, where they're like, you can't gatekeep everything or something, like either to a person or a group or whatever. That's kind of what I've heard it. I know what it means, but yeah, that's like when I've heard it.
That's a good one. People do say that, like, you can't gatekeep. And it's like, okay, who can't gatekeep? That's like telling me I can't gatekeep my bedroom. Who can't? This is my room. Everything in here, I bought it. Stop before I start singing Destiny's Child. Okay. So y'all, so a gatekeeper is defined as a person or thing that controls something, right? And so we're talking about Blackness, right? We're talking about Dr. King's quote. Do you all think that there should be gatekeeping? And I had to breathe on it because I know, unfortunately, even with the disclaimer, a lot of people are going to be upset about it, but the conversation needs to be had. So do you all think that there should be gatekeeping when it comes to Black culture?
Yes. For some things. Yeah.
Yeah, like Zahreia was saying, definitely not like everything, but like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's kind of like, it almost ends up like a museum where people walk in and then they like throw like black paint on all of the artwork and then leave and tell you that all of the artwork was bad anyway. It's kind of like that, you know?
Can you explain that? Because I think I get it, but explain that for me.
It's like we've got Black culture and then people will try to enter into Black culture and then they'll do things and they'll say things that almost attempt to diminish it in a way. And then when people criticize them for doing that, they'll claim that they either weren't doing that in the first place or didn't do anything bad because there wasn't anything there to begin with.
Also, like they go into it like and like steal it and do other things, but then when they get hated on for it, they're like it wasn't good anyway. Type deal.
So like if somebody eat your sandwich and then you mad they ate it and they're like, well, it wasn't good, but it's gone. Like the sandwich is gone. Stanley, I love that analogy. That's good. Yeah. He got us all sitting here thinking.
I'm like
wow. I never thought about
it. Museum like now. Paint everywhere.
Yeah. It is like that. So yeah, so what are the things like when you keep that in mind, right? Because Zahreia and you both say like some things, and I do agree. Some things are like, yeah, absolutely. Like some learning moments, please take, you know what I'm saying? Take these learning moments when it's about certain things. Please take this with you. Take this with you and share it. You know what I mean? Absolutely, because we never want the way that things get passed down is they're shared. So please, by all means, with respect and appreciation and credit, please take this and send it forward. But some things it's like, don't touch that. You didn't pay for that. You ain't put in work. You weren't with me shooting in the gym. Some things are definitely like that. So it's like, how do you know? Like, what's the what? How do you pick and choose, or do we, like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you pick and choose, or how do you know what's appropriation and what's appreciation? Zahreia is closed eyes thinking, like, I love this. She's about to serve us an answer.
It's also because it's like it's kind of bright, being completely honest. Ooh, it's right there. No, I think the difference between the two is one is like you can appreciate what someone says, what someone does, what someone looks like, whatever, and just genuinely just think it's a cool thing. I do that all the time where I'm like, oh, that's nice. That's a nice fit or something. There's a difference between that and completely like copying it and trying to make it your own or trying to make it seem like you created it or you came up with it or you, that's the difference. I feel like I was trying to think of an example with it, but that's kind of like what I was going for. It's really just copying. You're either a copycat or you're not. Like, for me, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, like, oh, and it's like one thing that they always tell us in school before we start a paper is like everything that's not your own idea, you have to give credit for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the easiest way to avoid appropriation is literally just give credit and don't say you came up with it.
Say it one more time for the people in the back who took their headphones off. Maybe the vacuum was running in the house when you said that. Say it one more time for them, Stanley, please.
Just give people credit.
Period. Yeah. And even with that, I would go as far as to say, don't use it for convenience, right? So a lot of the times we will see these Insta celebrities or these YouTubers or whomever, TikTokers, what they call them on the line, TikTokers, whoever. You'll see them have a full aesthetic of Blackness, and it's only cool or popular until they cross the line, or until their fans say they want to see something different, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, whatever, you know what I mean? Or they get defensive and it's like, oh, well, I grew up in this neighborhood, or, you know, my cat's, fish's, niece's, nephew's, uncle's turtle is 1% whatever. And it's like, that's offensive. Like, if you have to search that far to find an inkling of Blackness to you, then what you're doing is wrong. Anything where you have to form some type of a fake apology on the internet and make a tear fall, that is wrong. And anything where you have to pull and say, well, my other friends don't mind, is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. So just don't do that. That is not okay. So if you want to be appreciative of the culture, please do, but don't full on take it on as costume. And I mean, like the language and all that other stuff. And then when you decide you no longer want to be Black, you go back to, you know, an entirely different aesthetic. Like, it makes me think of, do you guys know who Awkwafina is?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so Awkwafina, oh, go ahead, Stanley.
Isn't she like the actress?
Yeah, she's an actress. I think she was like a YouTube star for a while or whatever. Like, she started on Disney, didn't she? I think maybe.
So. I don't know.
She's an actress, and she for years, people have been saying like her Black scent is strong, right? Like, she's always, you know, that's what they say, like she pulls from Black language, which we'll get into when she speaks. And so all of a sudden she is more mainstream. She's getting more movie roles, which is wonderful, right? Career-wise, beautiful. Her whole language aesthetic is different. Whole language, the entire way that she carries herself, completely different. And when she's called to speak upon it, it's like a whole direct or a roundabout, or you never want to directly say, I was wrong for this, you know, or I learned, I know better now, or even an apology. It's just like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And that's when it's a problem.
I was just about to ask you, could we call out like celebrities and stuff? Because I was like, I had two people in mind. I say two people. A person.
We not say a call out. We won't call it a call out. Who does it make you think of? Because it is important that people know, so that because when you know better, you do better. So who does it put you in the mind of?
It was like a group of people, and then one person in particular. The one person was Miley Cyrus. The group of people was the Kardashians. Girl, and that was because recently, you know, like some stuff's been coming out about even them being like, a few of them being like, they don't like what their butts anymore or something. So they're going to get them removed. And I was like, wait, okay. Like, I was like, just the fact that y'all have the option though to do that. But I was like, even with Miley Cyrus, when she did go through her whole phase of twerking and all that, and then randomly said she wanted to go back to the sweet country girl, I was like, you have the option to do that. So it's just like, it is a costume for them. It really is. And when they feel embarrassed by it, or they feel like they made a mistake, or they want to go back to how they used to be, they have the option to retract it and still be respected and still whatever. But it's like, we can't take away our Blackness. Like, we can't just be like, one day we decide we don't want to do it anymore. Like, I was just like, okay. It made me think about them though.
Yeah, don't get me started, because I can go on for about the Kardashians for days, boy, because just even when they popped on the scene, I was like, I don't want to keep up with you, kick it with your skate with your nut, homeboy, in my T.I. voice. So we're gonna let that one rest, because that is what I could really get on a soapbox and go and go and go. But I will say this: there have been clips that have been coming out recently all over Tiana Taylor's internet, and one of the clips is of one of those Kardashian sisters. I don't know. The only one I know is North. And that's because she said, "What are those? Those are close." But there was a clip that came out from, I guess, their show, a snippet where one of them was saying like she is a blank lover and she's okay with that. Yeah. Moving on. Yeah, but you see,
Not surprised.
but you see, that's what we're saying. So let me ask you guys, what is the downfall, right? If Black culture is not protected, like if everybody just keeps getting in, everybody keeps getting integrated in, they keep getting these invitations, we keep letting people come and wear us as costume, what is the downfall? What happens?
We'll get disrespected more, I feel.
And I think if people use Blackness as a costume, they won't see us as human almost. Does that make sense?
Very much so. Very much so. Very much so. I like that.
That was good.
I love it. I'll take them. I agree with both of you. That is really the biggest downfall. And it kind of makes me sad for like future generations if it does happen. Because like I said, if we don't talk about it or if we allow it to just kind of be used, however, then eventually all that is Black culture gets turned into something else. You know what I mean? Then it gets changed. Then the stories, like how Zahreia was talking about her experience with learning about slavery. It's like you never learned, like if that was all you ever saw and no one ever took time to like, explain it or anything like that, that would be your experience. That would be what you think is, for lack of a better word, the value of Black people. You know what I mean? Like what you saw. That would be what you think is the strength of us, like the beatings that we received and all of that. So it's like if no one ever goes forward protecting Black culture, speaking up against the appropriation and the misuse of it, then future Black children will never, ever really have their own culture. They will never know how wonderfully amazing and rich the culture is. They'll just be like, oh, I don't know who I am. Almost like the tweets and stuff or the posts that are like, oh, I don't really have a personality. Everything I am is from what I see on TV. It'll be like that. Our kids will be replicas of their forefathers. That's a bar. Lil Wayne should rap that and just give me my what? My credit. Okay. I'm just saying, Weezy F baby, if you ever decide to use that, just know we did it here first, okay? So let's think, y'all. Close your eyes and think. I'm gonna put y'all in a spaceship. I'm sorry, or spaceship, time machine, not spaceship. I don't have a license for that. So I'm gonna put y'all in a time machine. I want y'all to think back to, and this is gonna get a little uncomfortable, but in order to be comfortable, we have to be uncomfortable. So, an audience, please feel free to join them in this. So I want you to close your eyes and think back to the time of Jim Crow. Think of the feminist movement. Think of literally every single world war there's ever been. Think of the civil rights movement, all the way up until Tamir Rice, unfortunate killing, untimely killing. I want you to think all the way up until the Black Lives Matter movement, up until today, whatever the most unfortunate recent incident of injustice against a Black person is. I want you to think of that. And then on the count of 3, I want you to open your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you have that with you, and I'm sorry that I put this heaviness on you, but it is important for the next question. So where you think of these things, where Black people have legally and literally not been able to just exist, right? We get pulled over for breathing, for sleeping in our cars. When you see people, when you hear about the laws and the rules that were during the civil rights era and the Jim Crow era, when you think of Emmett Till, who was murdered for supposedly and brutally murdered for supposedly whistling at a white woman who came out on her deathbed and said she lied. When you think of that, right? And as a result of the mistreatment and people not wanting us in their spaces, our great grandparents, because we don't even have to go that far back, right? Most of our great grandparents are above 80. So our great grandparents and our grandparents they created their own spaces, right? They created their own clubs. They created their own movie theaters, their own bookstores. In Oklahoma, there were beaches. There was an entire world in Oklahoma that was all its own, right? And so think about what they had to really overcome the financial strife of having to even try to get land to build businesses on back then as a Black person, all of that. So they created their own places, they created their own spaces, and they were celebrated, they were welcomed, they were beautiful spaces. A lot of them, unfortunately, most of them, all of them were destroyed because there was no outside influence, if you will. Why do you think, when you think of what we've had to go through, what we've had to overcome to even have a snippet of our own, why do you think that Black people, some of them, are always so eager to have other people at the function or to seek that validation from other races? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get heavy on y'all, but it's important that we discuss it.
I think it definitely is the wanting to be accepted part. I know you already said that, like kind of wanting validation. I think it's almost like some of us want it so badly that we have like in our mind, if we invite them to our stuff, if we open up, if we're more welcoming, maybe they'll be more welcoming about some of the things they're doing or some of the things that they get opportunities for. I feel like it's really a fantasy, to be honest, because not that it won't ever happen, but like with stuff that's been proven, that hasn't been the case. It's like a yeah, I don't really blame people for kind of wanting that though, but it is like that's really why they go to that length. I feel I've seen a lot of people do it, and it really is. It's not a sad case. It's just more of a okay. Because even the whole I know it's a joke, even on TikTok and stuff, and they'll do it, but someone does like one thing that's like the bare minimum of not being racist, and they'll be like, "Oh, like you're invited to the cookout," and I'm like, people be like, why is this being praised? Like, this is the bare minimum. But it's like, we don't get that. Like, I feel like some of us really are like, at least they're doing something better than another. I don't know why. I don't know. But yeah, that's definitely why I feel.
I like that. Yeah.
I think part of it is also like, I guess going back to like Jim Crow, when we had to start our own things, I think part of it is like, we think that that almost legitimizes whatever we're doing. So like with like HBCUs like Howard or Hampton or Xavier, that like these institutions, because they're primarily Black institutions, can't be as good as white institutions because it's run and organized by Black people. I think at some point it was instilled in people that we're not good enough on our own.
Man,
That's true.
yeah. It is. It's almost like y'all know the saying keeping up with the Joneses, but nobody told Black folks that the Joneses, like the rhetorical or what is the hypothetical Joneses, are like the Caucasians, if you will. And so for whatever reason, when we are looking, I even think about artists. I think about music because y'all know I'm all things arts and music and things like that. I think about artists or actresses who have said in certain interviews like they don't think they've made it or they haven't made it to the A-list or whatever until they've brushed shoulders with this person. And it's never anyone who looks like them. It is always like someone who they have put on this pedestal to be the highest of the highest. But it's like, who made them the greatest that is there? You know what I mean? When it's like there are tons of people who look like you or people of color who are just as talented. But unfortunately, like Stanley said, we have been conditioned to believe that it's like if it's white, it's all right. And if it's Black, get back. And that used to really be the same. And so unfortunately, that is how it goes. And like Zahreia said, you can't blame, because you cannot blame people for wanting better. But it's also like, who's to say what you have isn't good enough already? Like, why is what you have, if you're equally as talented, equally as yoked, why is it not enough for you until someone else who doesn't look like you says that it is?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Yeah. And so it almost makes me wonder, like, what, I don't know, like how, I guess, how do we, I don't want to say reverse it, but it is almost like when you think about the struggle that our great grandparents and our grandparents had to go through, yeah, I'm struggling with that one. I really do, because I think about think about when you were a kid and you ever had to like play with your cousins or your siblings and they were like, you're not allowed because you're younger, or maybe you're not allowed because you're a girl, you're not allowed because you're a boy. And it was like you do things to try to impress them. You try to run fast, you run into a tree on your bicycle and mess up your knee. Listen, okay, I grew up with boys. I had to do something to be cool with them, right? And then I get in to finally hang out with them, and it's boring here. Like, I'm not having any fun. Y'all don't do anything spectacular or cool. I thought we would go into the woods, explore wildlife. We did nothing. We walked around the block. Like, I did all of this work. I was mean to my friends. I made all these sacrifices to walk around the block. Like, I feel like that's what it is when that's what I see other Black people, they're like, oh, but I'm not at this status, or, oh, I'm looking for this appreciation or this validation. It's like, you doing all that to walk around the block. You can walk around the block on your own, baby. And probably faster because it's just you, So yeah. All right, y'all. So AAVE, we talked about it, right? Displaying the language, the Gen Z language. So they're calling it, my millennials and my boomers, listen to this, okay? That's my head, this is my ear. Listen to this. They are calling slang and ebonics. They're calling it AAVE. What's in the name is that? It says, I'm laughing, y'all, because y'all really do love to give some things some acronyms, okay? It is called African American Vernacular English. Yeah, that is a mouthful. So then they take it, change the name, and then they shorten the name that they've given it. So Gen Z, I love y'all. Y'all are amazing like that. So what is AAVE? I just told you what it is. So basically, it is the way that our mouths twang. It is the way that we say what we say, how we enunciate, You may hear a y'all, you may hear a yo. It really just depends on how that tongue goes. Oh, bars. Wayne, I'm telling you, you use that. Just give me what? Credit. Okay? I'm just saying, if y'all ever hear that in a Wayne lyric, I said it first. Okay. So throughout history, y'all, the English language has always been taught to have origins from mainly three places, right? From German origin, from French origin, and from Spanish origin. However, there really has never been any conversation about the words that are rooted in a lot of African vernacular. And I did a lot of research on this beforehand because, well, AAVE was totally new to me because I was like, what are y'all talking about? So I did my research. And apparently, there are words that we say that we didn't know came from rooted in African language, which I think is super, super cool. So just another way that we have been the blueprint for something that we did not know anything about. So who wants to take a stab at a word?
Stanley.
And audience, y'all can drop them in the chat. Who wants to take a stab at a word rooted in African dialect?
Let me think.
Thinking hard, y'all.
I'm gonna need help.
Sorry, you got anything for us? I got them stressed, y'all, with a capital STS.
So just guess.
Yeah, guess a word.
Wow.
Somebody cheating. Absolutely. So yes, one of the words, wow. Isn't that cool? Because, we use that one a lot. especially me, like when I see somebody do something really stupid, I'd be like, wow. Mm-hmm. Or when a kid be like, look at me. And then they go, I'd be like, wow. Like, that was 2.0 seconds in my life I can never get back. Thank you for that, right? Another one, I love it. I will eat it fried, grilled, or off to the side. Okra. If y'all don't like okra, get your lives together. It's a beautiful, beautiful plant. I think they call it the lady's finger, which is super cute. You don't like okra, Stanley?
No.
Are you not from the South?
You said.
I'm just confused. Like, you don't eat your okra with macaroni and cheese, a little cabbage, and some cornbread?
No.
Put a little hot sauce on it. It'll change your life, baby.
I'll take my mac and cheese, and then I'll take the okra.
Okay.
And then I'll give the okra to somebody else who wants the okra.
Oh, mommy.
With a side of hot sauce. You don't like okra either? What's wrong with y'all? Do you like your vegetables at all? Y'all eat pears, don't y'all?
Yeah, I used to, but
yeah, you look like you eat pears. Mm-hmm.
I used to.
A pear has graced your lips. Yeah. We're gonna get off of okra. Another word, and I'm not really a fan of this, so y'all can say what y'all want. I don't care. Yam has roots in African dialect. I know, right? Yams, like, yeah, which is funny because back home, that's what they would describe a woman's body as. They're like, oh, she got the yams. So I guess I can see that, somewhere down the line, our home language kicked in. And another one is gumbo.
I see that.
Yeah.
Gumbo.
Which is funny because it sounds like jumbo, which is the African greeting for hello. Hi, shout out to Afrocentric for that lesson. So yeah, so those are just a few words that are rooted in African dialect. So where did AAVE come from? Does anybody want to take a guess, a stab at it with their okra, their lady's finger? You see the eyebrow raise? That was very The Rock. Does anybody know or have a gander or a guess where or we won't even say AAVE. We'll just say where Ebonics comes from.
I would probably guess almost from slavery, because since slaves weren't taught English, but were forced to understand it, and then had to have a way to communicate.
Yeah.
Is he right?
I think he is. Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely right. So during the time of slavery, of course, Black people were snatched from different tribes and such. And when you're in different tribes, you have your own dialect. And so unfortunately, they were not allowed to read, of course, or even speak their own dialect, because it was like you could be plotting to escape, you could be plotting to overthrow. We can't have any of that. So they were forced to learn English. Unfortunately, the English that they were learning wasn't even proper English, because it was not the Queen's English. It was Americanized English. And so it was a little choppy. But then, being the innovative, creative people that we are, we were like, listen, you can say what you want, but we still want to talk to each other without y'all in our combo. And so we picked up a little bit of their language, but maybe we left off an ER at the end, right? So something like master became master, right? Or we maybe put a little extra curve to certain words. So instead of mother, it was mother, you know what I'm saying? Or ma, or something like that. So we took what they gave us and we added our own flair and soul to it, which I think is amazing for a people who have been through what we've been through, and we pass it down from generation to generation to generation. And so it was also a way at the time as communicating escape routes, of safety plans. If mother and child were separated, it's this is where we will meet up if we ever have the opportunity. You know what I mean? And I think that's pretty dope because the pass down, I think it's cool because it's when I tell people, they're like, oh, how many languages do you speak? I speak 3. I speak English, I speak sarcasm, and I speak Ebonics, baby. That's a whole nother tongue. You know what I mean? Because if I say something, right? If I say to Zahreia, yeah, girl, I was kicking it down at the store, I got me something to drink, and I was like, it's mad brick outside, I'm going in the house. I just said a whole lot to you. You know what I'm saying? I just told you I was at the store hanging out. I got thirsty. I got something to drink. It was cold. I went in my house. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Someone else would have been like, what about a brick? Where are you throwing it? So I really do think it's cool that the tongue has been passed down, the dialect has been passed down through these generations. The only problem is like people are using it and they're using it wrong.
So the only thing is that even if someone makes a post or something and goes, oh, this is like something that, you know, the Black folks gonna understand. And then someone comments and goes, I'm white and my parents say that. And it's like, okay. We didn't
So
say that.
where did they learn it? Was your mom hanging out in LA last night in Inglewood? She probably was. She probably does.
like nowadays, it's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Nowadays it is like everybody kind of feels like they have a way into, you know what I mean? Like, oh, like the new thing I've been seeing is like the push and pee, which is right now totally dumb to me. I don't know if y'all been seeing it. It's based off some rap song. Yeah, so push and pee is some type of rap song. I don't know what it means, y'all. I'm officially that age where I don't know what the kids are talking about anymore when they're pushing things and doing things and big burn and all that. But okay, I know that. But apparently it's supposed to mean like you're pressure, like you cool, like you dope like that. And so there was a girl, a TikToker, she was Caucasian, and she was on there like giving compared, like, you know, listing things. So like, oh, having curly hair equals P, and it's like the blue P emoji. But like hating is not a P. And then she even said gatekeeping, not P. And I was like, girl, you're not even using this right. I don't even know what it is, but I know you are not using it right. And it goes back to like what you guys were saying, like they've gotten so comfortable that it's like they try to tell us that we're wrong, almost like what are you doing for Martin Luther King Day? Like, how dare you?
I think it's because my bad, go ahead.
Good.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so it was like I see a lot of people use that sort of language on the internet, but then not even use it ever in person.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because when they try, it sounds weird.
It's because they can Google it on the internet. The internet will formulate the perfect sentence for you, baby.
They won't know what to say.
Googleina does her thing, but in person, like they'll be like, "Oh, that hair is so perfect." Huh?
What'd you say?
Fleek. First of all, Fleek went out back in 16, boo. Maybe even 17. Second of all, my hair is not it's perfect, okay? Let's be clear. But yeah, Stanley, you made a good point though, right? Like they'll use it on the internet, but not in person. There's even a lot of like a lot of people say they have two social media types, right? It's like the friend social media and then Facebook, because that's where your parents. And so you'll even see two entirely different people on social media. So like on whatever other platform where their friends are, they got the whole aesthetic. They may be cussing and bopping and doing all this. And then you get over here and it's like clean cut and you using all the letters in the alphabet to speak and all of that other stuff. And it's like your parents have no idea that you're over here acting like you from the east side of Columbus or something like that, which, you know. So it is very interesting how they can kind of pick and choose. Yeah, I like that. All right, y'all. I see what you're doing. We answered this one. When does appreciation cross the line to appropriation? We answered that one. So let's ask some questions. Are y'all ready? We're gonna get through these as quick as possible, okay? Do you think that Black people are too sensitive? It's been said. Don't look at me. I'm not saying that. I'm relaying a message. Do you think that Black people are too sensitive when it comes to calling out someone for appropriation?
No.
Okay. 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 I'll take it. She's like, nope. Next. All right. Do you think that the attempt of inclusivity from others to Black people is a way to pacify the cries of decades of injustice? Let me simplify that, because I know there's somebody right now sitting at home like, what did she say? Basically, do you all think that when we are included in things, meaning Black people, we're included in movies or films or music, or even get an opportunity to speak on some type of platform or show or whatever, do you think that is an attempt for people of other races, be they Caucasian, Spanish, whatever? Do you think that is an opportunity for them to say, okay, well, we put one of you in this position, so you guys can't complain about racism anymore?
Yes.
Okay. I think I was gonna say it's not like a story. I mean, it's something I want to share because I was like, for example, I saw this TikTok of this girl and she was like, we want to see more Black women, gotta correct myself, and more roles, like lead roles, but like more like, like a lead role that's not like she's in survival mode, or like something like I don't want to say a Tyler Perry movie, but
too late, said it. We get it.
You know what I'm saying? Like that type where it's like, why is she struggling all the time?
Yeah.
It's a regular character, like, but they wanted that. And then they showed how they'll put like a light skin or something in the roles and kind of be like, we gave you what you wanted. So when they started saying they wanted more dark skinned women in the roles, like they were like, it was always going to be like a Tyler Perry movie. Like that was going to be the role. And it was supposed to be like, you got what you wanted. So like, like we gave you it, but we didn't like give her a regular storyline, or like they make her like the sassy friend that's just there for funny purposes. And I was like, we definitely are getting more roles and stuff now, I feel, with more Black shows and stuff. So I'm definitely glad about that. But I know for a long time, that was like, we were really hanging on to Zendaya. Like, I'm just like,
girl, by the strand.
Yes, one of us
by
is up
the
there.
strand, honey. Her and Viola Davis and Lupita. But Lupita and Viola were getting the struggle roles. So yeah, I feel you. Yep. By the strand.
Like, we gave you something, and it was like, okay.
And that's no shade to them, because Zendaya is talented, a fan all the way around. But it is, and she's even said it, but it's also like, I'm not taking this role from a Black woman. You know what I'm saying? So yes, good point, V. Yes. Stanley.
Oh my gosh. In terms of like when there's like an ensemble cast and it'll be like there'll be 10 main characters and then there will be one Black person to represent. No, it'll just be one person of color.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, who thought that was a good idea? Or what bothers me is when creators of entertainment will say, we couldn't find anyone else to fill this role.
Did you look?
Yeah.
Did you look? Hollywood is a big place. I know, I lived there for a while. It's huge. It's huge. It takes you an hour to walk from one block to the next. And that's probably not even the full block. Did you look? We're calling you out, Hollywood. Did you look? I want to know. Did you really look? Because yeah, that's frustrating as all get out. I think about like the weight on someone's shoulders. Like when I don't want to call them the token Black person, but okay, y'all ever seen South Park? Not a fan of the show, but they're literally in South Park. They have a friend. It's one little Black character and his name is Token. Yeah. And it's supposed to be a harsh joke, basically to awaken people. Like, this is really how y'all see Black folks. But it's also like a big ha as well, because South Park is literally, it's yeah. But so it makes me think of the pressure on the shoulders of whomever they put in this position, right? And it's like, oh, this person isn't allowed to mess up or do wrong. And they have to carry the entire culture of what is Blackness on their shoulders. And if they fail, well, we gave them a chance. We can't trust any more Black. You know what I mean? So I think it's an unfair expectation. I think that some people who are in that position don't care to be the hand up or assist other Black people, like that crabs in the barrel mentality that comes from the Jim Crow era. And then I also think it's like Zahreia and Stanley were saying, it's like, we gave you what you wanted. And it's like, you found the most racially ambiguous Black person you could. Like really, come on now. Did you try? Did you try? So we're not, I'm saying, and I don't know what other people are saying, other Black people, but I'm saying we're not accepting that. I'm not accepting that. Like, that's not cool. That's something that's just like, really? You didn't care to try.
Right.
You didn't even attempt.
Like, just to add on really quickly, I saw someone, I don't remember who said this, but I saw someone saying, because people always go, well, it's better than nothing. But I feel like sometimes it can be worse than nothing, because it can like make people think wrong things or things that aren't true. And so it would have almost been better if they just stuck to their original idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. When I hear people say like it could be worse, or it's better than nothing, I think of like, okay, but if you go to a coffee shop and you order something specific, you've been tasting it all day, and you get the wrong thing, and the barista says it could be worse, it's better than nothing. How you gonna act about that, baby? Like, really, what is your next move? Is that, you know what, you're right. Thank you for this pumpkin spice latte. I'm allergic to pumpkin, but it's better than nothing. No, you want what you want.
I pay for this.
You want what you want. And that's simple. What we want, and I really do want, is I'm tired of the trauma, the Black trauma movies. Like they're trying to make the Emmett Till film. Don't do it. We don't want to see it.
Yeah.
We don't want to see it. We've been the photos have been thrusted upon us for decades, and we don't want to see it. We don't. We don't. Thank you. Like literally, please don't. I can't. Okay, let's get to these. I'm sorry. I'm telling you, I don't want anybody. Have you seen? No, I have not. Don't have no interest in seeing it. We know how it ends.
Mm-hmm.
How it shouldn't have ended is how it ends. Thank you. So yeah, we're going to get into this last two. I'll do this one first. Whose responsibility do you guys think it is to educate people on the lines between appropriation and appreciation? Do you think it is solely a Black thing? Like, do you think that only Black people can say you're being offensive? Stop it.
No. I think they themselves, whoever wants to be educated, should educate themselves.
Period.
I mean, it's kind of like Google's free, you know, figure it out. That's literally how most of even, well, not, I don't want to say all of us, how me, myself, even learned more about stuff that they weren't teaching me in history. Mm-hmm. Because I had to go online and figure out stuff about even like our history. I'm just saying, like, figure it out. We shouldn't have, that gets exhausting. Come on. Back to back, I got to keep telling you how to respect me. Oh my God. Look it up.
Over it. It's not funny, but it's funny because we get it. No, you can't touch my hair. No, you can't do that. This is why that's yeah. Don't tell me you're getting as dark as me in the summertime. I don't care. Yeah.
Don't care. No interest.
Yeah. Stanley, what do you think?
Honestly, Zahreia is 100% right. Google is so free. Like, and even if you, for whatever reason, decide that Google is not for you, there are legitimately people out there, somewhere out there, who are willing to explain this at least once. So I think it's about being open to it and listening, and that some people don't want to know.
Y'all are on the money. And I just want to give a demonstration, right? Because I get it, you know, the internet is a hard thing sometimes. Sometimes you get misinformation. Sometimes we forget how to do certain things. So I just want to show you all how easy it is to Google.
A quick tutorial.
It's so, guys, when I tell you it's so simple, look at that. I just pulled it up on my phone. I carry Google with me. I can't do it right now because my phone's blurred. But I carry Google with me daily. And you carry Google with you daily. And if you don't want to talk to Google, tap the side of your phone. And guess what? Hey Siri, how you doing? He won't talk to you right now because he's on mute. But it all works. Like Stanley and Zahreia said, there is no reason that you should go to that one Black person you know or 3 Black people. We don't want to do that. That is a tiring way of living. It is exhausting and it's almost insulting because you don't care enough about me as your Black friend to go learn anything. You just want to ask me and waste my time. That's like always trying to copy my answers in school. Eventually, sweetheart, we're going to graduate. You're going to be on your own. Mm-hmm. So yeah, a great tip, y'all, to learn how to navigate and really work with and be an ally. I got a book the other day. I was supposed to go and Target for bed sheets. I bought books. That's not the point. I regret nothing. Okay. Picked up a book by a young man named Ben Philippe, a Black man. And it's called Sure, I'll Be Your Black Friend. Notes from the Other Side of the Fist Bump. And he gives he basically is helping y'all understand some ways to navigate spaces where your friends are Black, basically, so you're not offending anybody, right? And whether you are well-meaning and you just don't know what to say, this is a great way. And if you just don't know what to say because you don't care to know what to say, but you like to read the book, okay? Because everybody's not going to be patient with ignorance, and everybody shouldn't have to be. All right, last question. What is the hardest thing that you have had to watch other races be praised for that a Black person would be shamed for?
Oh, okay. So with the Olympics, with Simone Biles and her prioritizing her mental health, I just saw, at least initially, a lot of people were like, she can't do this. She's got to go win us a gold medal. She's got to put the competition first. But I was thinking back to like when like people like influencers and other people say, I'm taking a mental health day and you will not hear from me for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
And I just think that it's so strange that Black athletes and Black people are expected to perform nonstop every single day of the year, no matter what.
Yeah, it's giving slavery and we don't like it.
I just like that little accent he put on. I'm taking mental break for 3 months.
Stanley was an actor, did y'all? Give that man his Oscar. What you think, Z?
I would say, okay, so my mind. As a girl, Black girl, really being confident in wearing my natural hair was a struggle. Okay. And it was sucky because in my school, it was always like the messy bun, the messy whatever was praised, right? So you're thinking, okay, a cute little look. I wake up in the morning. I mean, my natural hair, my messy hair is going to be like the same as whatever, but you do that and people ask you why your hair isn't done. Mm-hmm. Or they're like, it's nappy. Or it's like, dang. So y'all weren't talking about me. Y'all were talking about somebody else. Figuring it out was sucky, but I'm glad that we're getting to a point now where girls are a little bit more, confident to wear their natural hair. But that was kind of sucky sometimes, especially when I was a little bit younger. I didn't get it. And, you would think you always had the flat. That was like the flattened hair days, like hair. We thought that's what I had to do all the time. But it was like, those are the days.
Talk about it. Yeah, I kid y'all not. The whole, like this whole part, ball, because I would flat iron it and I was in competitive cheer. So it was a lot of gel once a week for competitions and practices, gel, barrettes, and then I would clip a ponytail right here. And eventually my hair was like, baby, we tired. We've had enough. Stop it. You laughing. I was not in that chair laughing at the salon. I was a sad child. Okay. 12 years old, going bald. It was awful. It's like, wow, is this genetic? So yeah, I feel you on that hair thing, girl. Big time. I love that one. I'm trying to think for me. For me, it honestly would be the, I hate this word, but I'm going to say it, the fast. I have never been a soft-spoken, oh my God, go along to get, I've never been that. I've never been a go along to get along. I've never been a let you talk to me crazy. Never. I've always spoken up and said what I felt. I've always been like, this is not fair. I don't like this. Why, that's always been me. And so in school and growing up, having an opinion and being not afraid to state my opinion has gotten me labeled as problematic. And this is when I went to a school that was, unfortunately, it was majority Caucasian teachers, but a majority of the student body was Black. But when you speak up, even as a kindergartner or first grader, you were labeled. Workplaces, I've been labeled as the problem, as the opinionated, the girl with the attitude. And it's like, no, I'm firm on things. Like me telling you to spell my name right, Nisaa, it shouldn't be, oh, she's got an attitude problem. You're spelling my name wrong. That doesn't mean I have a problem. You have a problem because my name is right there in the email. Did you not see it when I sent it to you? So that I think watching other women of other cultures and other races, like, oh, she's so sassy, or oh, she's Latin and fiery. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, that's so sexy. And then for me, it's like, oh, she an angry Black girl. Oh, she got an attitude problem. Oh, she always got something to say. Yeah, because quiet women don't make history. Hello. So that was my beef, y'all. Really, that's my beef.
True though, like other people get called like cute and spicy or whatever. I just tell you, hey, my name, you spelled it wrong, and that's like, really? But she was yelling at you in the parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that. And then I gave an example earlier about our Black men. I don't like how, and y'all just be being. And I know that sounds so, y'all just be being, just be existing, walking down the street in all your Black gloriousness. And y'all are automatically presumed to be a dangerous or some threat. And y'all could be the tallest one, the shortest one, maybe growing, whatever. Tall, like small, built, whatever, and you're automatically a threat. But then if you have like another guy who's tall and brooding and whatever, it's like, oh, he's hot, or he's this, or he's that, or he's so intriguing or mysterious. And it's like, why do they get labeled just for being? But for someone else, it's hot, or it's this, or it's that, or oh, he's so dominating and I like that. It's like, are you kidding me? This man is going to buy flowers for his puppy because the puppy had a bad day at puppy care. This man over here probably done murdered 40 million people. Like, why is there a double standard there? So for me, that's my beef for Black men. I'm speaking on their behalf. I love y'all. And so that's my beef for them, is that they literally, however they look, they get typecasted by society. So yeah. All right, y'all. Oh, go ahead, Z.
I was like, one more thing I had to realize when I was reading books, when they would say like a tall, dark man, they weren't talking about y'all. I was like, oh, he's not that. Okay. You see the picture at the end. Never mind.
Isn't that crazy? Like the term tall, dark, and handsome is not applied, because it's like, not even being funny, who's browner than a Black man? I would really like to know. Because when you think of dark, like if somebody's like, oh, it's dark, I'm thinking like, I can't see, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm thinking. So if a person has a dark energy, I don't want to be around them. But in the books and all the movies, if you're tall, dark, and handsome, you're not Black, you're just mysterious, and that's hot. But in reality, if you're tall, dark, and handsome, and you're Black, that's not okay, that's not safe.
Now she's holding her purse.
It ain't nothing in the purse but gum. We're not gonna go there because I could go on about that one. Yeah. So when we think of today, y'all, MLK, Martin Luther King, they Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, because it is, and we will respect it. And we think about the cookout, the invitation, always freely giving it out, passing it. Y'all, let's be careful of that. And I'm not saying not to be gracious of people. I'm not saying not to be accepting of people. I'm saying that in order to want people in your home, and when we say home, we're thinking of Black culture, in order to want people to appreciate and value Black culture as much as we do, as much as we should, you have to first make sure that you value, appreciate, and understand it. So don't just pass out invitations and your house isn't clean. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Don't just give people, oh, you can do the Dougie, here you go. Oh, you can do the XYZ, here you go. Oh, you click your tongue before you say something, here you go. Stop that. Make sure the house is clean. Make sure we understand, appreciate, and value who we are, the stock that we come from. I don't even want to use stock, that's a bad word. The lineage that we come from, before we just allow people to come in our house with their shoes on and mud on the bottom of their shoes. Or what Stanley say, throwing black paint on the walls and leaving. Because I live in a glass house. And what I mean by that is, I'm a very open book. And if you get black paint on these glass windows, it's going to be a problem. So let's make sure the house is presentable. Let's make sure that anyone we want to invite over to visit, not stay, but visit, let's make sure they respect the rules of the house, my Black people. So that way we're not integrated into a burning house, because when people value something, they take care of it. It doesn't have to go down in smoke. So let's lighten the mood and play a game. Are you ready? Are you ready? Stanley, you ready? Destiny not here to cheat. Stanley's about to start jamming, okay? I was scared for a minute. Okay, Stanley? All right. I don't want a dance competition against Stanley, y'all. Y'all ain't seen my friend move, okay?
Oh, God.
Go Stanley. Go Stanley. Okay. One day I might have to put a clip of that in because she was killing it. Okay. Let me set my timer. Zahreia, welcome to 20 seconds or less. I'm letting you know now we serious about this game. So 20 seconds or less, y'all. Y'all know how the game goes. For those of you who don't, we're going to bring up a random topic and you have 20 seconds or less to give a list of the things in that topic. All right. So we were talking about the cookout, a good cookout. Of course, the food is important. That means you have the uncle with the sandal at the grill, but nothing is more important than the music you have playing. If y'all know me, y'all know I love music, so I don't plan to lose. So we're going to start with who? Somebody pick a number 1 through 10. Oh, Zahreia.
I'll go.
You want to answer first?
Cookout music.
Okay, Zahreia. In 20 seconds or less, and I'm timing, so don't be cheating. Can you please tell me what 4 songs you would play if you were on the aux cord? Aux cord, because I'm from the 90s, baby, not a boozoo. If you was on the aux cord at the cookout. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
You said 20 seconds? Is it going?
Yeah.
Cupid Shuffle. That's Slide. Wobble. And what's that Soulja Boy song? Ooh.
What is it? What is it?
Is it Crank That?
All right, Zahreia, guess what? You did it.
With the that.
On the count of 3, y'all, we got you. 1, 2, 3. I love it. Stanley goes the opposite way. He's like, I'm going this way.
That's what it's called, right? I tried to search.
It's called Crank That. And you played hits, honey. So everybody's dancing at your cookout. We're going to be in there. Yeah.
All I do is get the music that everybody going to be like, ooh, let me get to the phone.
My song. Hold my cane to Stanley. Yeah, absolutely.
Hold my cane.
Not the cane.
Wait, give it back.
I need that. All right, Stanley, are you ready?
I am ready. I'm ready.
I took all the good ones.
You really did.
You did not. There's a few you missed, baby, for the culture, but it's okay because I got you. Toi.
Right. The Cupid Shuffle. No, wait, no, not feeling that. Crazy in Love. Poison. She's a Bad Mama Jamma. And the Electric Slide.
Yes! Come on, Stanley. Literally, we're going to be like this. Hey. And then that girl is boyfriend. Yeah. Doom. Okay. Some hits. I'm kind of scared. Whew. Okay.
Am I timing?
Yes. 20 seconds on the clock, please, Zahreia.
Because you can't do it, cheater.
I'll be cheating.
Last time I tried to do seconds, I did minutes, so let me not do that.
No, baby, please do whatever you want to do, okay? You do what the good Lord puts in your heart.
Wait. 1, 3, 2, 1, go.
Before I let you go, Frankie Beverly, not Beyonce. Why is it harder? Wait, stop! I can't think because that was the main one in my brain. Before I let you go, Frankie Beverly, and yeah, that's all I got. I couldn't think, y'all. I couldn't think. I was so pressed to get that one out. I couldn't think of nothing else.
Didn't she say she was gonna win, Stanley? Error. Yeah. She got 4.
In my defense, though, like I'm a good MC, and y'all know this. So, hair flip. Yeah, I was so pressed to get that one out because that is the Black Cookout song. Before I let you go, that dun 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 dun. Whoa, like if that don't make you want to fry a piece of corn or grill a piece of corn, I don't know what will. So yeah. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to That's whY2K Gen Z Has the Floor Season 2. Let's leave on a good note. Can you guys give me just one word, a final check-in on how you feel about today's conversation?
Marvelous.
Ooh, that's it.
Excellent.
Ooh, I like that. I feel feel relieved. You know, I always like being able to have these type of conversations with the young people because y'all don't care to be politically correct. You don't care to sugarcoat. You're just like, here the information is. We are saying it with the best intentions. Take it or leave it. And so I feel relieved that we had the conversation. So everyone, I want to thank you so much for tuning in for episode 2 of That's whY2K Gen Z, or episode 1 of season 2 of That's whY2K Gen Z Has the Floor. Zahreia and Stanley, y'all are super amazing. Of course, a shout out to the YWCA of Central Birmingham, a shout out to the Family Research Center, to Miss Latasha J. Humphrey, who is my supervisor and the associate director at the Family Research Center, to Jayla Wilson, who is always like, girl, here's an idea. What do you think? Thank you so much. To the entire IT team over there, thank you guys. And to you, the viewers who are checking us out, who are rocking with us from season 1, thank you for being here with us today. As always, make good choices. And in the words of Dr. Maya Angelou, may she rest in peace, do right. Till next time, guys. We'll see you next time on That's whY2K. Bye.
Bye.